Our glasses are dirty. Okay, I got it smeared around where I like it. We're going to jump right into this. First thing I want to do is recognize a few other builders. These are all good guys. Bayou Country Power Saws, Kenzie. He's had his own channel for a while now, longer than me. He's one smart cookie. Trust me, there's a few of us go to him for, hey, what does this fit that or doesn't it fit that? I do. He's early 30s, maybe, I don't know. Wealth of information. If you haven't been over to Bayou Country Power Saws, go check him out. He's one of us. We talk a lot. We learn from each other. Tin Man's Saws. With an S. Saws. Tin Man's Saws. Go check him out. He's up in Canada. I talk to both of these guys on WhatsApp a lot. Tin Man shares Kenzie's knowledge too. Kenzie's a slow-speaking Southerner. Get used to that. The wheels are turning every second. If you got a question, he's got an answer, or he'll find the answer. He's that guy. And he's smart. He knows the saws. Tin Man. He's a little more like I am. A little rough around the edges, you know what I mean? Brilliant. He's got a project in mind that'll stop a clock right now. He's got two. He just hasn't told me about the one yet. Have you, Tin Man? Home lights. He's doing some killer stuff with home lights. We have a new guy. He's a subscriber. These guys all subscribe to my channel. That's why I pick you guys out of the comments occasionally. I see that you're building and stuff, and I kind of go over and check it out. JNS Chainsaw. How you doing? Love your 153. He built a 153. We must have had the idea about the same time, but he got his a little quicker. He got his 153 right up and running good. You need to see that build. You need to subscribe to him. Tell him he came over from us. He's a heck of a nice guy. Southern boy, I'm believing. I'm not sure where he's from, but I think he's Southern boy. Smart. Innovative. This is a guy that knows how to get things done. So, what I would like to see is JNS Chainsaw, Bayou Country Power Saw, Tin Man Saw, and me all one table someday. That's what I want to see. And I'd love the conversation, because these are not arrogant people. These are all salt of the earth. Very good folk. So I just like giving credit where credit's due. There's many other chainsaw channels. There is. But they're the ones that I kind of get to know. And especially if you're a subscriber, I'm going to lean more your way. You know what I mean? That's just, I'm sorry. I like you guys. The McCullough Man. Hope I got this one right. We got a saw to mail. And I hope this is the one. I want to do the unboxing right here on video. I got my parts laid out for my build. Let's just see what we got here. This may be something interesting. Really may. I don't do many unboxings, really. They're time consuming, but you know what? It's like Christmas every day around here. Ooh, we got a present. Oh, we got another. What have we got here? A little red. I bet one of you guys out there say, hey, I know what that is. I should have moved my crank and everything. let's get right into the saw thing here. See exactly what we got. Well wrapped. Good job. Good job. When you pack up saws to ship them, I'm going to help you. Drain your fuel. Drain your bar oil. After you've drained your bar oil, rinse it out with a little chainsaw gas. Blow that out good. And then put a paper towel in each tank. That'll help you. You're going to love this. Hey. I know what it is. This is going to be interesting. Isn't that going to be interesting? Got the handle with it. See what all we got here. Well done. Well done. I want to see what we're getting into with this John's Red. Or J Red. I think we can figure out how to fix this whole girl, don't you? How many of you guys out there really like these older John's Reds? Leave it in the comments. He told me what model this is, but I forgot. Maybe something will jog my memory right here. Crazy good job of packing, I gotta tell you that. Yeah, look at that. Ho 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 ho. We're gonna be cooking with gas for this old bugger now. Interesting old saw. Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. We're going to see what we can get for this for parts. Think we're going to do a port work. It's not a 70cc saw, I don't think. It's a little smaller. Kenzie, what is this? Tell me, buddy. Early John's Red. Lovely old girl, I gotta tell you that. Think we're gonna build this. We're gonna port it. We're not gonna kill it. We're just gonna port it. We're just a nice firewood saw port, nothing more. Nothing more than that. Sent me some clots. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. We're going to make this a strong runner. I'll tell you what I want to do. I don't know when. I don't know when I'll build this. I will build this right here. And when we do, we'll share it on this channel. At some point, I don't know if it'll be bucket stock next year, or somebody happens to come along, or I just look at somebody in the comments and say, hey, somebody's going to get this saw. The channel's going to build it, and one of you guys is going to get it. That's what's going to happen. I do not know the time frame, so just tell me what you think of that idea. I'd like to get, actually, where you guys are, I'm so blessed. I mean, we got people like McCullough Man, Rusty Hill. I can just go on and on and on and on with that whole list of names. That Bill Block, Eric Nelson, Slammer, White Oak. I can't even tell you how many that send me things. Things that benefit me personally, the channel, or somebody else. Kenzie has done this. Wonderful. Remember here a while ago, we had that gentleman send all the parts to fix my friend's front end in his log skidder. That wasn't cheap. Yeah, he's moving. Other than it's a poor market, but he's moving. He's moving. This is what happens. So I want to get, as soon as I'm able, where we're just giving sauce to somebody here and there. Whenever it's good. I feel like I better be careful with this. I knew the saw was coming, but I wasn't counting on the clots. I know exactly what that is. Yes, I do. Some more. Yeah. Here, smell that. Can you smell that? Oh, goodness sakes, I could frickin' eat that on a sandwich. When you mix stuff like that with alcohol, and that's burning, or race fuel, and that's burning, it drives me bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. The smell of that is so good. Okay, let's jump right into what we're trying to do, and let's see if we can get it done. Okay, I have decided. Let's make a proper test. I want to see these bearings, if the Hutzle Farmer Tech bearings are working good. I've used them with good luck. I like the seals. A lot of times I was replacing the seals and running the bearings. These feel like a nice bearing, so we're going to jump right into it. Make sure I have a habit. I like doing the clutch side first. Don't get your crank screwed up because it'll go in both ways. You know the taper is your flywheel side. This side is your clutch. First thing I like to do, I like to get just a little dribble of oil. This is whatever Tractor Supply sells. Yeah, it's mixed oil. I want a little bit on that seal. Alright. At this point, I don't really put it in the bearing, but maybe we will. It don't take a lot. And just roll that in there. Get your gasket. A lot of people put oil on these or soak them or do this or that or put a sealer on it. I want this to compress dry. There's a given distance they need to compress. I do it dry. You can do it however you want to. You really can. The cases look good. They look clean. Get just a little bit of oil on this part of your shaft. I'm talking just a smidgen. Okay. Identify the third time that you've got the proper end. Okay. You gotta get your crank straight up. This might be a bugger on video because at the same time, if anything can go wrong, it will right on video. I'll promise you that. Okay. Okay, we're started in. Now what happens is your rod will cause you some grief if you're not careful. This is an NWP crank, okay? This is not a Hutzle Farmer crank. So the first thing you do, set your tool up. You need these assembly tools. If you don't have them for your saw, get them. You're going to want them, I promise you, for all that's holy. This goes on washer, nut. You got both sides of the crank to pull. They're threaded inside. All you gotta do is spin that little sucker on. I was trying to go the wrong way. I was trying to think ahead. Don't stop watching. You're making me nervous. No, you're not. You're not bothering me now. Make sure you got a few working threads there. Just trust me. It don't have to be bottomed out. Try to get that where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, now I'm bringing the other nut up. So we're going to get the gasket out of the way right now because we don't need that right this second. And as you're pulling that, you're going to encourage that rod. I don't know, maybe it's better bottom dead center. Yeah, put it at bottom dead center. It seems to rest better. Okay, now all we're gonna do, we're just gonna pull that in. That's all. That's all we're doing. So I gotta have one wrench here. Oh, that was tight right there. I should have had, check your rod once in a while, make sure you ain't getting that bound up. You won't like that. You really won't. If that ain't just about interesting, huh? A lot of times what I'll do is I'll use a crescent wrench. It was laying right here, but I think I left it in my truck. I needed it the other day for something. I'll go ahead and leave that just a little loose, and we'll get that tight. And I really need to get a different wrench. What I need. This one's just a little bit tight. Now that's holding that case. If anything happens where it's all of a sudden starts getting real tight, you better stop and figure out what's going wrong. As long as you're clean and you're dry, you won't have any trouble. I don't do this kind of work generally on video because I like to really pay attention. And I get sidetracked real easy. I get thinking about things to tell you instead of watching what I'm doing. And I get things mixed up sometimes because I'm old fart. Okay, what I do is I bring that to where I just feel it snug up. Just about. And you keep checking that rod. I'm watching it dance the whole time I'm doing this and talking to you. And, okay, right there, come tight. Okay, what I do is I just get that little off now. I stop pulling. The minute that snug just felt it snug, you stop. And you're good to go. Spin this sucker right off. Hell, we're going to have time to do a shout out. Get a crank installed. Now something that's kind of nice to do right here. You know that you got a little steel sleeve that you're going to put in that right in here, okay? And I'll show you how to do that. There's a little O-ring that goes on this little sleeve. That's what seals that seal. It's debatable whether you want to use that O-ring. A lot of times I use motorcycle engine assembly silicone, just a little dab. You want that, put that on that dry, no oil present, and you slide that down in there, and that'll seal up. Over time, them O-rings have failed. Sometimes you get a leak, sometimes you don't. Or you get a minor leak and you never really knew it, you just get a funny saw to adjust. Okay, you spin your crank, you make sure you got clearance. Everything feels really great. I'm just so happy I can't stand myself. Okay, on the same side as I like to do that the dowels are, the cranks in, so my dowels are on the proper side, and or just like that. That's all you do. Now this is just a little bit different. I want to grab that clutch, take a swig of it. Same thing. Get a little oil in your seal. I'm going to put just a little bit in that bearing. 5-6 drops. Roll that bearing around. Then there's oil on the bearing. When you got a saw that's got bearings in it and you're replacing them, heat them cases a bit with a heat gun. You can use a propane torch too. It'll blister the paint, but heat gun can too. I can't tell you temperature is 350 degrees, something like that, 300 degrees. The case expands, the bearings drive out much easier. Okay, so what we're going to do, now this is critical. You want to make sure that you just kind of roll and rock that sucker around. Okay, we got it. Started snapping in there. Now we have to use our other part of the tool. The one that screws on where the flywheel nut screws on. A lot of times I like a third hand when I'm doing this part of it, but I don't have it today, so we're just gonna do our very best. Okay, I'm gonna have to get some shims. What I'm gonna do is block this up. We're at 23 minutes. Let me get this started together, and it's the same process, just draw it together. But I just want to make sure that I got this right, so I'm gonna give you a quick pause. Okay, now what I do is when I get my dowels real close, I'll put a couple screws in just to locate, okay? You don't have to draw them with the screws, don't do that. Just get them started nicely. I'm actually using OEM Husky screws because I got so darn many of them from taking saws apart that was busted. At least put them in the ends, the farthest ends, okay? Three or four of them are probably good. And then just finish drawing this darn thing up, okay? That's really kind of important. Okay, the same thing, draw it up till it just starts to snug. Stop right there. Now, what you're looking for, when you're done, center your crank. I was hoping this would do something different. That's roll nice and free, slight resistance, obviously, but free. Now, You can take a soft brass hammer or lead hammer. You want to center that. You want to look right in there if you feel like you can measure between them cases. But you can see that crank's pretty centered. And that's what you want. You want to center that good. If you feel it binding just a little, you're not quite sure you like it, dead soft hammer, just tap one way, feel it, tap the other way. Align them bearings just a little bit, okay? That's something I do anyway. I just give it a little tap one way, tap another way, and it just makes the bearings run smoother. That's what it does. Now all we got to do is just get a few more screws in. These are easy to build. They're a good saw if you've never done one. They're a good saw. Those of you that put head gaskets on before kind of do the same thing. Just kind of go around. I go around the center first and get them just touching, and then I draw them down tight. That's what I do. I was hoping I had time to put the gas tank on at the same time, but we're not really ready for that. What we'll do is we'll put the flywheel and everything on. I'll save that for a video. I'll do that in a video. You just get these snug. I do want to show you something about storing your tool, because it's a shame to have a good tool and all of a sudden you don't know where the darn parts went. In some cases, you can't tell these from the real thing. I don't care if it is on eBay or not, because you can put a data tag off another saw on these, and you'll swear this right one. The difference is these never say made in Sweden anywhere. Okay, here's the trick. We got that. We have a nice feeling crank. That feels really good. A couple things I'm going to show you. Okay, so you got all these parts left. I pull that off, take the washer off. I get this nut halfway. Half the threads. Put my washer on the other side. Put this on the other side. Screw the two ends together. That keeps that whole set of tools where I know where they are. We got a couple minutes. Let's take a look at these Hutzle cranks. I think even last year I was showing you a flaw that I didn't like. Well, it's gone now. They used to make a slit right here, and these rods were soft. Well, what it did, it expanded the big end here, and next thing you know, pistons start hitting, bam, you had a trouble. That may actually run, actually. Okay, I'll tell you right now, a proper chainsaw rod, it's very doubtful, unless you got a heck of a file, that you're going to leave a mark on it. So what I'm going to do is and they're copper clad. I did cut through that fairly easy, but they do feel a little better than normal. I still ain't running them. I'm not going to do that. So far the NWP's been real good to me. They're not terrible money. I get a lot of my parts at Wolf Creek Saw Shop. Talk to Ryan and tell him I sent you. That's where I get my cranks. That's where I get my top ends that I use, and one thing and another. Other than in some saws, for the Weisco pistons, I go on eBay and I look up the saw and see if CCC Specialties makes the Weisco. Have them made for them. That's better. Okay. So there's some of them in some of these builds coming up, including this one. We're putting a Weisco in it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks all of you for showing up. Thank you for the comments. And thank you for the channel support. Goodbye.